This is Detective Batman 1007, and it is part 2 of the 2-part Spectre story. What's happening is there is a cult that worships the Spectre, and they have gone and kidnapped Phil Spectre, who is Spectre's human host. And they're gonna kill Phil Spectre so that they can become like the new hosts of the Spectre. Apparently, Spectre and Phil Spectre, they are two separate entities now. They coexist, and Spectre, he just comes out of Phil Spectre. He like has a little nap inside Phil whenever he isn't out. So we've got all these cultists here, and they're dressed exactly like Spectre, and this will be a problem again later on. So they have caught Phil Spectre, and they're gonna sacrifice him, but they're taking their sweet time in doing so, cause you see, Batman and Spectre, they are trying to crack the case and find out where Phil Spectre is, who has taken him, and what's going on with that cult. So Batman, he's doing all the detective stuff he is famous for, and then the Spectre shows up, and they argue some more, and I've come to the conclusion that this take on the Spectre is just not very good. We get a telling here of Spectre's origin. This version, it's pretty similar to the main origin, just a little bit more shitty. I didn't like this Spectre because it's a bit confused. Spectre and Phil Spectre, they are separate entities. This story has shown that has been a setup that they have used in the past quite a lot. I'm fine with that idea in theory, but they haven't really worked it out, because Spectre, well, he's separate from Phil Spectre, but here he is talking about Phil Spectre's memories, and he's speaking like he is Phil Spectre, or that like Phil Spectre has imprinted onto him. Also, Batman doesn't know who Spectre is, or what his origin is, or that he is related to Phil Spectre, even though Batman, he has met Spectre loads and loads. I think this is pretty much just meant to be like a complete reset of Spectre, and they're trying to do that same thing they've tried before, where they bring the character down to earth and they scale back his powers, but it's just done badly here. They show him using his amazing godlike powers, like being all massive or blowing people apart, but then they're trying to sell him as like a brutal version of Batman. And I'm saying these things, and I want to say after all of them that, well, that could work, but this just doesn't do a good job at any of it. We're really not gunning into either of these characters. Spectre, Phil Spectre, they are huge plot points, but they're given now a day, really. No personality. And Batman, he's a star of the book, but he's just pushing the plot along. There were loads of opportunities to do stuff with Batman in this. There's like a bit later on coming up with a gun, and I thought they were gonna do something about Batman hating guns, because, well, they focus on someone firing a gun, and then they show Batman, like a close-up of Batman's face, but they didn't even acknowledge that. So they're going to fight the cultists. They are at a church, and we've got the exact same problem as last time, and it's only worse this time. The art makes it hard to follow because, well, you have the Spectre, and then you have like a dozen or so cultists who are wearing matching outfits, same colours. It's drawn the same. There's like no little visual clues. You can only really tell who is meant to be who, like when it's meant to be a Spectre and when it's not, because Spectre, he speaks and he has got these green speech bubbles. But here, down here, we've got this bit I said before, the bit where one of the cult people, they are shooting at the Spectre with an assault rifle. And then we have a panel of Batman staring. And no, it's not a thing. Nothing is said. What's the point of having this panel of Batman staring in response to this if it's not building to anything, it's not saying anything? So they beat up all the cultists, and most of them kill themselves anyway. And we've got an abrupt end which doesn't day out for the Spectre, and instead it's just a really stupid bit of failed humour. And again, the story is short. It's only about 20 pages because we have got another preview of a comic that people are probably already gonna buy. I mean, it's Batman and Superman. Who doesn't like Batman and Superman? Of course people are going to look at this book regardless of a preview. But apparently they still have to cut 3 story pages to make room to accommodate that. Is this like a thing that DC are doing now? Have they upped the price of all their comics discreetly to $3.99 to cut back on the amount of content? 22 or 23 pages, that's the standard for comics. The last issue had 18 pages and this one has 20 pages. And if I want to get critical again, a lot of it needless double splash pages, or it's stuff that's laid out across 2 pages. This whole 2-part Spectre story, it's not good. It's drawn out across 2 issues when it doesn't have to be. This should have been like a single issue, a quick little team up, but it's padded out to 2 issues, and it doesn't eat out with either of the 2 characters to warrant this extended team up. And there's just so much gunning against this comic. Not all of it the fault of the creators, but it's just disappointing. I'm only gonna give it 7 thumbs up.